For centuries, Christianity has been a tool in colonization, mass unalivings, rapes, and other heinous acts.
And that should tell you everything you need to know. This is a really tough conversation to have for a lot of people, especially when you're trying to be a recovering Christian, Catholic, whatever you are. The issue here is this, is that, as I had said the other day, I said the egregores are going to war. When you see that your egregore loses, it fails you, you need to deconstruct. The reason why I said that is because most people aren't, like, what they're worshiping is just their own creation. And so for many years now, I've taught on this app that most people are just worshiping themselves. What they do is they're going through, it's a weird kind of bypassing. What they're doing is, because let's just take Christianity, for example. People are introduced to a deity with a history that is alleged to be recorded in a book. It's odd if you think about it, because that which is recorded in that book is a limited set of instances filtered through the perception of the people who've decided to record them and put them down. And so when you're introduced to this God, you're told that you are going to learn about that God, their lore, their background, from a human being. And the issue then becomes is that a person is forced to learn about who that God is, who that God can be to them from another human being. And again, who and what that God is taught from a third person perspective, from a perspective of a person who is not that God. And so a person, because they neither hear nor see that God, they then have to go through the process of within themselves patching together what they believe about that God. And the formation of that God is typically born out. It's born out in the imagination of the person. So people don't even understand that they're going through the process of God formation, and which really is egregore formation, in which they create an entity in which they will believe, they worship it, they give it energy, and they don't even realize that that egregore is set to fail them, because unless they're powerful enough to give that egregore life, I know this is pushing from the solid into the esoteric, but it all winds together. Unless that person is powerful enough to give that egregore the power that egregore would need to solve their problems, that egregore, when I tell you that they're going to war, they're about to go to war with reality. Okay, I guess I should finish this video series, but they are going to war with reality. Starvation, war, powerlessness, all the things that are going to go on in the pressure cooker that has been created in your environment, and it will be personal to you. So that's why I say, when you watch that thing you're worshiping fail you, okay, you need to begin to deconstruct. Not working with the assumption that your God is going to do whatever you want just because you ask it to do that, or that even if you're worshiping something that may actually be or bordering on real, that thing will not be able to tell you no. But I want you to watch your beliefs. That may help you. That may be a bit better, less esoteric, when your beliefs are confronted with your reality, what you believe, what you worship, and those beliefs fail you. You need to think critically about what you believe, why you believe it, where it comes from, and whether or not you should continue to have that belief. I think that should help y'all a bit better, because when I say the egregores are going to war, it's more of a spicier topic. It's more of it's a way of aggregating a lot of stuff into one identifier, the word egregore, to help you guys struggle less with the cognitive dissonance. When you are dealing with a cultist, and what human beings don't understand, that our flaw isn't that we have a God-shaped hole in which we have to we have to worship a specific God. That God didn't create a void in us. It deemed, for Christians, you should understand, it deemed you a good thing, perfect thing, completed. The issue, though, is that, sorry for the cars. The issue is that human beings tend to worship things really easily. It's like in our base programming. So whether our propensity to worship things that run faster, jump higher, sing good, whether our propensity to worship the things, people, places, or things that are simply more skilled than we are, whether or not that's something that's taught, I have not sat and thought about or done the research on. I'm sure there's people who've already done that. But this is what I will say. To wrap us back around to the original subject, it's time for you to challenge your thoughts and beliefs, the things that you hold dear. So when I say the egregores are going to war, these are things of your own creation. These are entities, and I'll pull it out of the esoteric. These thoughts, beliefs, ideas, ideologies, habits, these are things that you've adopted. Your beliefs are the things that you've created. And so these are the things that we are in a pressure cooker, a time in which those things are going to be put to the test by reality, just reality. And you don't have to be this religion or that religion to kind of understand what I'm saying, nor could you be a person who appreciates the esoteric. But what you need to do is realize when your beliefs, habits, thoughts, actions are confronted by reality, you need to think critically about them, and you need to think about whether or not those are the things, whether those ways of being are really ones that you need to continue. Because unless those ways of beings are serving you, those thoughts, those beliefs, the things that you worship, why are you doing that? So that wraps me back around to the original concept, which is Christianity. Christians need to begin to have that hard conversation with themselves. They need to sit, when I say you need to judge your God, it's a spicy way of saying you need to think critically about what you believe. Because if people technically don't judge their gods, think, why should I worship that? Why should I take part in that religious tradition if that religious tradition, when confronted with the reality of its times, makes the wrong decision on cost basis? And you would say, hey, but it's the adherents, aka the followers, who are doing this mess. Well, why is that God not able to shepherd its flock in a way so as to say, these are my set apart people? Not these people who have decided to call themselves my people. These are my people. And when someone tries to use my name in a way that associates me with something I'm not associated with, that entity needs to protect its name, its lore, its background, what people know about it. Until that God starts to do that, you gotta ask yourself, is that an egregore? That is the God of Christianity? That's simply based upon something that may exist? Or worse than that, let's not even use the phrase egregore. Is that just a God that they made up? Because that God allows them to victimize perpetually throughout time. You got 3 different Abrahamic religions associated with that deity. And look at their wages. Look at what they do. Look at how they conduct themselves. And then you got to ask yourself, if that God can't control some basic human beings, it cannot incentivize them to do better. And the only thing it can do is say, well, I'm powerful in the next dimension, in the next life, in the afterlife. That's when I'll punish you. If that's all that God can do, if all that God can do is say, hey, don't think you should do this. Sin waits at the door like a lion. So many cars. If that's all that God can do, you need to figure out whether or not that God, as introduced to you, is something you want to worship. I'm not saying that there isn't a God, that there aren't entities who have powers beyond yours. I'm just saying judge this